Hey, welcome back, everybody. Welcome to a new video, new framework video. Today, I'm going to be sharing our communication framework infrastructure thing for scalable systems. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down how to build actually a complete Slack framework that allows scale for service-based businesses specifically. Although you can take this framework and apply it to other industries you might be in, right? So yeah, this is going to be considering automation, team members, and AI agents, as well as the founder slash CEO that is running this entire system. I'm going to give you a framework which you will be able to basically use to install a similar communication system like this. So why did we even create this guide in the first place? Why did we even create this framework? Why do we even have it as one of the 6 core components we install into our agency clients' businesses, right? And I work with over 10 agencies now this current year. And service-based businesses, we noticed something interesting. When they hit their max capacity for clients, for many, it was what happened after getting clients. And communication chaos is just one of the causes of the 6 constraints, well, the 7 constraints that prevent fulfillment scale from happening, right? So, yeah, this guide basically shares the exact Slack setup we've implemented in our clients to solve this exact problem, right? As you can see. Now let's go over down here. On here's an example on how we map some of the channels first, and I'm gonna go over this in a bit. But first, I want to break down why communication systems are so critical and why they are in or one of our main priorities or one of the main backbones of all the other systems we build on top of it, right? Number one, it's the foundation for everything else. Like I just said, in our experience, even the best CRM systems, project management tools, and automations fail when your communication is broken, especially when a lot of team members are involved. So why? Because humans need to know where to look for information, who's responsible for what, when things need to happen, and how to get help when they get stuck. All of this we take into account when building an actual communication system that is going to be scalable. Now, without a structured communication system, all the other systems gradually break down as people create workarounds, right? So as you can see, this is a quick pyramid you have with fulfillment systems at the top. There you go, your hiring process, your team structure, and your communication as the main backbone, because that's where, clients are living. That's where everybody is basically communicating and getting their outcomes, right? Your client outcomes, etc. Now, number two, why are they important? The second reason is going to be that it prevents the siloing effect, right? As you scale beyond 50K a month, departments naturally start forming. Sales talk to sales, fulfillment talks to fulfillment, and suddenly no one has a complete picture, right? So what I meant to say by this is that sales start to talk to fulfillment when onboarding clients, and fulfillment team starts talking to sales back. And yeah, basically, if there's no system, nobody has a complete picture of what's happening. Now, communications just solve one of the parts where the communication is actually efficient, but there's a lot of stuff that's involved that I have a lot of other guides like the databases, project management solutions, etc. We're not going to be talking about that just today, but I have more videos on that. So yeah, we've seen this create massive inefficiencies where sales teams promises things fulfillment doesn't know about. Let's say they're in a call and they start promising deliverables they don't usually offer just to get the close deal. Then there's a problem right there. Fulfillment solves problems. The sales teams could use as selling points, and we don't have that back and forth conversation. Leadership makes decisions without seeing ground level reality, without seeing, the input from the actual team members, etc., clients as well. And a proper communication systems create transparent bridges between these natural silos, right? As you can see, here's something that might happen, which we will have our sales team, fulfillment team, and leadership in a unified communication with that solves actual realities and problems, right? You may have in the actual day-to-day process, right? Number three is the key to team scalability. When you're small, information is going to flow naturally, but we've seen around 5 to 8 team members that communication becomes exponentially more complex. Think about it mathematically. With 3 people, you just have 3 possible communication points, communication pairs, right? One-to-one pairs. With 10 people, you have 45 possible pairs. Okay, because without structure, this is going to become quickly very, very chaotic. So a communication system creates scalable pathways that grow with your team. Now we're going to go over number four, and that it directly impacts client's experience. So in our implementation, we found that client perception is shaped by more by communication clarity than by the actual deliverables themselves, right? If you're not talking to the clients every single day, every single point you can, and actually deliver clear strategic points on your communication, then all of the other stuff you build on top is going to be pretty much affected by this, right? Because clients who get clear, consistent updates in a predictable format typically report higher satisfaction. Number five is going to be the neural networks for all of your AI tools, automations, etc. As you integrate more automation and AI into the workflow, which if you're watching this video, you probably know me more for that, your communication infrastructure becomes the nervous system through which these tools operate. Through these tools will send notifications, etc. The agencies with help that see the most benefit from AI tools are those with clean structured communication channels where AI can access the right context and deliver information to the right people, right? Now, what we've seen work and what does not work, right? Here's what we observe that service-based businesses or our clients used to have before they come with us and we install a similar system to this, right? Email threads become impossible to track. That's number one. Number two is client messages get lost between team members. So all the team members basically don't know what's happening. Even then, new hires struggle to find basic information, update Spanish, and run them DMs and chats throughout all platforms. Let's say they're using WhatsApp, Discord, Telegram, or they're even using the platform the client wants them to use, right? Members are wasting hours searching for information, client questions, and sometimes fall through the cracks, right? The client needs information, they need an update, whatever, they fall through the cracks, and we can't track that information and have it all in one place. One agency we work with was spending 10 hours. Yeah, we can leave this for later. A simple approach that's worked for us. We found that building strategic Slack ecosystem that creates essential nervous systems for a service-based business. In our implementations, this has directly led to, number one, that's drastically reduced whereas this conversations, faster onboarding for new team members and clients as well. Clear accountability for who handles what, less meeting time through async communication, so way less meetings. Sometimes we are just having useless meetings where we can just have everything streamlined through a communication channel, a couple of forms, and that's where we're going to get all the inputs, same inputs, more actionable steps that we would get otherwise in a daily call or something like that, right? The channel architecture we found most effective. Now, here's the structure we typically implement, although the additional channels should add vary a lot. You might imagine that sometimes we implement it for content agencies, another time for ad agencies. So the actual structure may vary a lot, but we're going to give you the framework so you can implement it and modify it however you want, and also providing a few examples so you can take a look at them and think for yourself, right? So yeah, number one is going to be the general channels. Let's just go straight into it. The company hub, right? These channels keep everybody on the same page about company-wide matters. What we typically set up is going to be announcements channels. We're service for official updates only. The general, it's just day-to-day conversations that everybody should see. The wins that dedicate, it's going to be a dedicated place to celebrate success across all teams. And yeah, this basically gives us the wins and the motivation for them to keep going. And random, basically, we just have this channel as everyone is added here and they can just post whatever they want here, right? An example, I'm just gonna attach real examples. So one agency we work with had their CEO post a weekly 2-minute voice memo and announcement summarizing the company's focus for the week, which dramatically improves alignment, right? And you can pretty much, what we sometimes do, depending on the team size, we usually just pair these two together, announcements in general, and we just have these two basically the same thing, right? And sometimes even the wins, we just have a team channel for all the teams where we post all of these things in the channels, right? Number two is going to be management channels, which are basically focused on leadership coordination. These create a space for leadership to collaborate without cluttering general channels. This can be, a bunch of CSMs and and leadership team, which will be the CEO, CMO, COO of the operation, the partners, whatever, and basically connecting those 2 points, right? Middle management to upper management. And what we typically set up is just a leadership team with exact team discussions, more overview to keep those conversations. Maybe they're critical, etc. We want to keep them all in one place, discussing maybe partnership, equity, etc. All on the leadership one, as well as strategy, which is more like long-term planning conversations. We want to keep them separate so we can actually gain insights and use AI on top of it as well. We want to keep track of the numbers, like KPI, daily numbers, KPI tracking and discussion. Like for example, this right here, which I'm going to go over the example in a bit. Then we have issues, basically issues that come throughout the week that are related either to clients or maybe a specific team member that and these are critical channels, right? We need to attend, and these issues can vary by a lot. We'll go over, employee issues later and client onboarding, etc. issues later as well. Okay, so we have a real example right here. A marketing agency we work with posts their daily revenue numbers automatically to numbers, as well as call booked and call conducted, which help them spot trends more quickly, and their monthly reviews as well. So they're gonna have something like this, where they're gonna have the amount of calls they book, the amount of calls they conduct, and the amount of cash they collected. And this is just a quick reference, so they can just use that as a thread and just have discussions based on the daily numbers channel right here. And this can be set up pretty quickly using an automation, to which I'll go over automations later and how you can do this and scale your fulfillment channels. Okay, so HR channels are going to be team building and management. Pretty much this will streamline the hiring pipeline process. What we typically set up is a hiring pipeline. Usually it's called hiring pipeline or hiring, which is for recruitment coordination, right? Then we're going to have team onboarding, which is going to be that new team member processes. Like in an interview process, we need input from this team member, from that team member. Like they need to go through multiple interviews. So that's why team member onboarding and the hiring pipeline needs to be kind of separated, right? As well as HR requests, we're going to have a team scheduling and admin. This is just for any specific requests we have from the upper management. This is more for like larger corporations, but you can give yourself an idea on what we typically set up right here. This, of course, varies a lot by the size of the company. And if there's roles that are going to be high churning, like for example, for a cold calling agency or a copywriting agency, we're going to need a lot of copywriters. In a cold calling case, we're going to need a bunch of, kind of sales rep calling in every day, right? A real example, one client of ours created a simple Slack workflow that automatically sent you high welcome messages and first week checklist to number onboarding, right? So to the Slack channel of onboarding, making the experience consistent for everybody. And this goes back again to the automations we set up. This is going to be the backbone for them, right? Now, after we go over like the specific fields we set up, I'm just gonna go over the actual how to set up the bookmarks, the channel descriptions, etc. Now, number 4 is gonna be for now the lead generation channels, which is for prospect tracking and for the sales process pretty much. Or I think, I separated the sales channels as well. So these keep everybody aligned with upcoming opportunities. We typically set up the new leads channel, just notifications when someone enters your pipeline. And this can be depending on what you give the definition of entering your pipeline. This can mean, I don't know, this can mean a new prospect, got a lead magnet or something, where you can basically set up this. Or even you can pair this up with a new appointment setting channel, which is basically when new appointments are set. This is pretty straightforward, and we can set up the call outcome form to basically send out notifications to here as well. Marketing campaigns, this is for more so campaign coordination. If you're doing any advertisings and stuff like that, and you're hiring a media buyer, or you're just doing content across and multiple people are involved, you can just set up a specific marketing campaign that you will set up right here. A real example for a sales agency we work with, they set up automations that post a lead form submissions directly into new leads with reaction buttons for the sales team to claim them, and cutting response time by 62%. As you can see right here, we just set up this, which every form fill, which this appointments booked form. They would set it up, and we would send up messages to the client's channel, to the internal channel, and to the new leads channel as well, right? Now, number five is going to be sales channels. For the sales channels, this is going to be revenue tracking and all that sort of stuff. What we typically set up is going to be the sales pipeline channel, which basically tracks deals and the progress as we go through. Sales support, any sales support for a specific deal flow. Let's say it's a technical setup and the sales team needs support from the fulfillment channel or the fulfillment team, specific fulfillment team members. We can just add them accordingly to what the issues have happened in the past, right? Now we have cash collected, basically all confirmed payments. This will be for upper management, kind of see cash collected payments as you go, and you can track the sales rep commissions right here within the same messages, right? For contracts, this basically goes over contract statuses and discussions. Every new proposal we send out, we need to keep track of their status and update the channels as we go. So real example, we have one client set up an automation that posts a celebration gift and a client details to cash collected when a payment is processed, which boosts the team member morale and create a healthy competition, right? So every time we collected cash, we update the cash collected channel with the according team member as well as the client details on the onboarding and all that sort of stuff, which I'll go over right here in the fulfillment channel. Ensure smooth delivery and quality control. What we typically set up is going to be a client onboarding channel. Client onboarding, basically everything related to every step of a client onboarding, right? So let's say we need to set up a Slack channel. We update the internal client onboarding channel and we provide the team with the link to the actual channel so they can actually join. Now, we also are going to update the team every time we create the internal client record, every time we get paid for the new invoices, all that sort of stuff. You can just give yourself an idea on what we do, right? Delivery is basically regular progress updates for each client, and then we have delivery issues. This is super important for problem resolution across different teams. And then we're gonna have client wins, which are basically gonna track the results achieved by our clients. And this can be a channel where you can have all of your clients in it, or you can just have your internal team. It depends on the service you're providing. Maybe clients directly find value or motivation when it's more done with you service, and when all of the clients have a chat where they can chat directly through, and you can get additional input for that to better further your service, right? So a real example we did, it's a web design agency we work with that uses delivery for pre-launch checklists. Team members post screenshots and get feedback before client actual delivery in the specific channels, reducing revision requests by 40%. So let's say multiple people are working in that project. We're just going to do that and go through the delivery internal channel before we actually go forward and send messages to the actual client channel, right? Last one, I think, or no, also last one is going to be the productivity channels, daily ops. What we typically set up is going to be the daily stand-ups, monitoring priority sharing, end of day reports, process improvement, and tools, basically. So real world examples are for several clients. We set up a simple Slack commands. This is a typo right here that prompt team members to share their daily priorities and daily stand-ups, creating accountability without meetings. We can do this by setting up a daily reports channel, like right here, where every time, end of day report has happened across different teams, we can have end of report or end of day reports for sales team, for fulfillment team, and separate across channels, or we can just have it in one, or you can even route to the quick wins on the day, and we can just do stuff like this, right? Like for example, right here, calls made, appointments booked, nice work today, close references. All of this is automated through a form, and we can do further things that are really cool. But the main thing is just to have these as the backbone channels of the productivity systems, right? So yeah. Number 8, it's going to be client-specific channels, which is dedicated communications. So these create a hub for all of clients' communications. This is one of the most important things. So the format we use for creating each of these channels, because each client is getting one channel at least. So format we use is going to be clients and then whatever the client name is, client channel. and we standard pin few items we have right here, which is going to be the client brief and goals, right? The project timeline, the key contact information, an important document we might have is this might be a proposal, whatever, and we're going to also have the latest deliverables, right? This is the pin items. So if you go to any Slack, you're going to have your pin items, and let me go to that. Well, I can't share the pin example. Okay, so you basically pin all of these items, and then for client-facing teams, we found that this channel structure works exceptionally well, right? So you have client-specific channels, like I said, one active channel per client, and add clients as single channel guests for direct communication, and pin all relevant project information and contacts, as well as setting up automated onboarding/offboarding workflows. So we'll go over this in a minute. Don't worry about this. Then we're going to have a client success hub, which is going to be a client success team, where all the CSMs are just basically going to talk about what's working best across different clients. Internal channel for CS team coordinations and client interviews, which are basically client success stories and testimonial for clients. This is optional. Now, a real example, most agencies we work with reduce client emails by 85%. Of course, this is like obvious, by moving all communication to a dedicated Slack Connect channel, right? That dramatically improving response rates. Now, by doing this, you remove all other methods and replace them with your own. This not only gives you credibility, but makes stuff 100% easier for management and data storing, right? And this is just one extra step you need them to take in the onboarding step and in the onboarding process. The number one makes you look more legit, and number two makes it so much easier to build different systems around your fulfillment and your client delivery process, right? Now, let's go over some real examples on how top agencies kind of structure their Slack. And let me show you some of the most successful agencies, specific Slack channels, descriptions, etc. This is based on actual steps we observed. This is a seven-figure agency examples we work with in our organization. I can't reveal the name, but team communications, they are, of course, are going to have their team chat, super valuable content channel where team members share articles, content, resources, etc. They ring the bell, celebrates every new client and give announcements, health wins. They're basically a virtual gym where team members post workouts and health achievements. And as you can see, this right here is just this is all a variation of what I shared before of the general channels, right? Now we're going to have leadership and operations. They have a leadership channel. They have an operation channel, handle company-wide support requests, marketing ideas. Team shares inspiration from other brands. This is more for the creative team, right? Finances. This is where, yeah, all the financing information will go. Sales and pipeline, money inbound, sales leaderboard. You're basically gamifying the what I just said before, the commissions and all that sort of stuff with rankings, right? Client dubs, showcasing client wins to motivate sales teams and of course clients. Anti-buyer's remorse, alerts client success for new clients signed to prevent churns. This is just a variation of what I said before, which is going to be the fulfillment escalations channel, right? Now we're going to have also team management, which is going to be like, for example, employee of the month, recognizing top performance with prizes and recognitions, core values that reinforce company cultures with shout outs and reminders, CEO report, which is basically like where the CEO would upload a voice message on a weekly basis, objectives, etc. And what's particularly effective about this structure is how it creates transparency while maintaining focus and maintaining a gamified environment, right? Every channel has a clear purpose. They use bookmarks extensively to pin important resources in each channel as well, right? Now we're going to go to the management diamond through Slack. Now we found that effective team management through Slack addresses four core issues, and this is basically referenced by Slack team themselves. So number one is going to be they don't know what to do. Now the solution for this is daily stand-ups and dedicated channels, right? Example, monitoring priority forms submitted to different channels, right? So this is like end of day reports, which I mentioned before, etc. Number two, they don't know how to do a certain process, right? The solution is to basically record process documentation and training in Slack Canvas, and basically provide good bookmarks like a Loom video that I'm like the one I'm creating right now, explaining a certain process for an SOP. I have SOP guides as well. You can just comment on them. I have them on my resources, right? And where I can just show you how to create SOPs that actually are able to deliver training to your team members, right? Now, so example dedicated training or resources channel with pinned resources, like the one this agency had right here, which is going to be in the super valuable content section, or a similar stuff like that. Create one Loom video per Slack channel explaining each one. This is super important. When they don't know how to use a communication channel, there's just going to be across multiple channels, basically making a mess again, and they're going to go back to the same system. So if you have the time to create one Loom video per channel, you have basically laying out the system, laying out how this works, laying out all the automations that are going to go through the channel. This will make them 100% more likely to use it. So I would strongly recommend to do this. I always recommend my clients to do this themselves as the founders to provide more clarity around this. Now, number three, they don't know what's important. And yeah, basically the solution to this is transparent deadline tracking and project channel. Example, automated deadline reminders posted to relevant channels. This is for more specific stuff. You can also tag people when it's something urgent, and also like pin multiple stuff that it's related to time related issues, right? They lack no motivation. This is going to be number four. The solution is recognition and celebration channels, and kind of gamifying your Slack setup and tagging appropriate users, like I said before. Example, wins channel is created that celebrates both client and personal achievements. Like for example, right here, congrats on new appointment booked, and this we say the campaign, the rep name, the recording, your whatever details you want to have, and for your specific service you would have right here. This is super important as well as for the clients, because we want to basically show the client each deliverable we have as soon as we get it. And the more notifications they have, the more they feel great about your service, right? Now, our implementation process, the planning table. Before creating any channels, we use a planning table to map everything out. And basically, this goes over how we actually implement this and how we actually build these channels for multiple clients and the framework we use pretty much. So we usually start with a table like this on Miro or on Notion, and we actually start mapping each channel we're going to have. As you can see, we have different categories. We're going to have the general, fulfillment, management. Management can is leadership basically. We have sales, we have productivity. Yeah, we have the who, which basically are gonna contain each team member that is gonna be using this channel, and as well as the user IDs. I didn't include this because it wasn't very specific. This only plays in when it's very specific. And as you can see, this is like a system SOP you can just grab and download. After you're done, you can just download as a PDF and put it into general. And they can just go here and click the links to the channels, to the appropriate channels. And then we can also use this as reference as we build automations, right? So we're going to have the description, we're going to have the pin message, the initial pin message, and we're going to have important bookmark. Like for example, I just left this quick example right here for the bookmarks. We're going to have the agreement generation form. Let me switch colors. Client portal link, fulfillment management interface link, and stuff like this. That's going to be a quick reference for each channel depending on the channel, of course. And yeah, you can just download this CSV. I'm just going to attach this document, and you can just go to the document and click download as CSV, as you can see right here. And then you can just edit this on your own, right? And I can show it to you. You can do this on a Google Sheet, or like I said, on Notion or something. Yeah. These are the things you need to map out first. It's going to be the channel name, the channel purpose, one sentence description, the required team members, bookmarks, and pin items. Integration needs automated workflows, Loom channel recording. This is all you need to do for your Slack communication systems. It's going to take you a few days to map out and to build for each channel. Yeah, but this planning step is crucial. Skipping it often leads to building a system that is not going to be scalable and that is going to break down in a few months if you scale and if you bring more team members, right? Okay, so here are some lessons we learn along in the hard way. And actually, I share these lessons, I want to just share a quick tip I would like you to use, so you can accelerate your implementation with AI. So you basically can just copy this, whatever I told you right here, copy this, maybe provide the CSV, modify it however you want, and you can accelerate the whole implementation by using a normal O3 GPT conversation. And you can just use this prompt based on this communication framework. Help me create an initial channel planning table for my type of business. If you need channels for specific areas, and you just basically talk to the AI for each channel, include a purpose, description, who should be in it, and any key bookmarks we should pin. You should talk to the agent and let them know all of your team members you currently have, all of their roles, all of their role descriptions, and how your flow is currently working. Maybe attach some examples of conversations with clients so it has enough context. And then this will give you a solid starting point that you can then refine for your specific business needs. We found this can cut the planning process from days to a few hours if you do it correctly, right? And we actually use it every day. Right. So lessons learned the hard way. Let's just go back to this. These insights come from implementing dozens of these. So you need to start with fewer channels than you think you need, right? It's easier to add channels as you go than to get people used to too many, right? We typically start with 10 to 15 total channels. We also document each clear usage guidelines, which is what I mentioned about the looms. Each channel should have a clear purpose and a description. We create a simple where this is go decision tree. And the first 30 days, we require enforcement, which is basically one of the most important things for building systems in general. If you don't enforce these systems, they're not worth anything, pretty much. We also generally require redirect misplaced messages to the actual right channels, and we try to understand why the source of the problems that we face during these initial 30 days of implementation. We celebrate when people use the system correctly. We integrate make or break adoption, basically connect your most used tools to reduce app switching. Like I said, for our clients, they just only need to literally use their interface, which we build them on Airtable, and their Slack communication, and they can manage all of their business within that. Slack is going to be for more like the worst case scenario. They just talk to the team. Everything else is automated, and then the interface is just going to be for everything else, managed business fulfillment related, right? And yeah, like I said, start with 2 to 3 critical integrations and expand. Don't create a channel without a clear owner. Each channel needs to have someone responsible for its health and management. The ownership creates accountability for all of the information flow. If some information is missing in a channel, the according team member can talk to the management team and they can fix them themselves, right? So the team to founder process, one of our most successful implementations is the team to founder process. Here's how it works. So yeah, CEO spending hours burning client communications. You don't want that. Team members interrupting with questions throughout the day. No structured way to prioritize decision-making requests. Now, what's the actual process, right? So an automated thread is created in Slack every period. It's usually every day, right? The team members handle client communications first. And for issues requiring CEO inputs, they post in this thread using a structured format, right? They have a reference number, which is a ticket number on Airtable, sheets, whatever you're managing or you're doing the project management. It's like usually an internal ID. You have a context why this needs the CEO attention. You have a clear explanation with screenshots and everything, and you have a proposed solution. If you don't try or have a goal to have a system like this to send messages, it's all going to be a mess, and whatever system you build is not going to be as great because people are still involved, right? So for CEOs, and what does the actual owner or CEO does is going to be review the thread X times per day, morning, afternoon, and evening. We respond using the same ticket number for clarity, and we close the loop in each ticket with done or I responded framework, right? We can just use a check mark in Slack to do this. The results for this is, of course, 70 to 80% reduction in CEO time spent because the CSMs are just requiring, or the other team members are just requiring the CEO or the higher upper management team on actual good input they need to have, and they have clear expectations, they have clear context, etc., and they have everything they need to be able to respond with enough information, right? Clear accountability, searchable history of decisions made. This is very important as well. This is one of the most consistent and highest ROI processes in our communication system implementations. Now I'm going to go over 25 automation ideas we've implemented across these teams so you can take them and implement them on your own. Now you can read this in detail on your own. I'm just going to go over like one of the top 5 or top 10, right? So yeah, first of all, we got lead gen and sales. We're gonna have new lead notifications, appointment alerts, no-show recovery, deal stage movements. Every time a deal stage is moved in your CRM, we can trigger an automation to go to the according channels in Slack. Payment celebration, sales leaderboard updates, and lead scoring notifications. Alerts the sales team with website visitors show high interest behaviors. This is like something that's really quick to set up. This can be super high ROI, honestly. Team management, daily stand-up reminders from team for parties at 9 a.m. with the structured form, end of day reports, weekly team digest, TO/availability updates, automatic status changes with team members are out, meeting preps reminders, send agenda and prep materials 30 minutes before a scheduled call so everyone is prepared. Core value celebrations allow team to nominate colleagues who exemplify company values. And here in the meeting prep reminders, another idea you can have is you can have an AI agent just before every sales call, maybe 30 minutes before their sales call, or as soon as they book the call, you can perform research on that person and everything, and you can send it, you can attach that to the call booked notification so that the reps are automatically pre with pre knowledge about that specific company with a summary they can just read, right? Core value celebrations, new hire welcome sequences, all this sort of stuff that's really valuable and that doesn't take a lot of time to set up, but that can deliver great ROI, right? Client management, we have client milestone alerts. For client management, we are going to have client milestone alerts, which notify the team of upcoming deadlines and deliverables, satisfaction pulse surveys, renewal reminders, client health scoring, success stories, anti-buyer's remorse. Operations and productivity, we're going to have system health monitoring, post alerts when critical systems go offline, like automations have errors or something, weekly knowledge sharing, document updates, process improvement collector, cross-department updates, maybe a resources added to something. Most of these can be built with native Slack workflows or automated with Make.com, N8N, Airtable for more complex systems, right? So we're gonna have and most softwares have direct integrations with Slack. They're one of the most if not the most streamlined communication platform used in a world basis. So most of these, yeah, like I said, can be built on Slack directly. Implementation timeline, what to expect based on our experience is a realistic timeline you can expect to implement all of this, right? So you can, if you take the full 1 to 2 day, you can audit your current communication patterns, take different inputs. Take a few hours and create your Slack channel planning table. You can then define the channel purposes, owners, actually get the URLs for all the bookmark and all the pinned messages you're gonna send. Then you actually go and build it. If you don't have any team members, you need to onboard the team members, configure the plan. You're going to be on Slack, add all the users, keep track of all the users, add it to your accounting, whatever. Create channel descriptions and guidelines, set up your channel structure, all on Slack. This is basically where you take all of the table and actually implement it. And then you train about a week to all of your team to be using all of these frameworks. This is going to be, recording all of the videos I mentioned for the Slack setup, create all of the guides for where does this go, right? Then you answer questions and address concerns from your team for each channel. And then you reinforce 30 days. Gently redirect misplaced messages, collect feedback, and celebrate wins. This I went over already. Now, expert implementation team from Slack specialists, from expert implementation tips from Slack specialists. So from our interviews with certified Slack consultants and power users, here are some advanced implementation tips you can implement. This is from literally enterprise level consultants that have, teams of hundreds of people, even thousands of people here in Slack. So if you make Slack work for you, the key to reduce overwhelm is personalizing your Slack experience. Customize your sidebar to however you want it, drag your most important channels to the top section, set notification preferences at multiple levels on your end and on each user behalf, workspace level, channel level, and section level, right? Using it to serve schedules effectively so you can set up recurrent schedules that max your focus time so you can be focused when you're focused and then attend communication, prioritize, and then just focus again, right? Automatic replies using your D&D periods as well. And yeah, more automation ideas for your Slack-centric systems. You can just go over of each of these on your own. But yeah, these are basically tied to an outcome. So when a new client sign, you can just automatically create a dedicated Slack channel. It is more like not so much the messages automation, but Slack channel setup, adding relevant team members to of the clients every time a client is signed, post welcome messages automatically, schedule check-in reminders for CS team automatically, create canvas with client details and deliverables automatically. Pipeline visibility, when a lead moves to a new stage, post update to a sales channel, notify the assigned salesperson, provide prompts for the next action, update leaderboard if deal closes, and trigger celebration sequence for wins. Now, team accountability, you can have a morning priority reminders, as I already went over. Client health monitoring to proactively prevent churn. This is one of the most key things we implement. We need to implement regular check-in reminders for account managers, automate satisfaction pulse surveys for clients so they can quickly fill out every week like a quick survey that's going to take them 1 minute and we're going to have additional input for them. Alert workflow for potential issues, renewal upsell opportunity reminders, success story collection prompt. I forgot to mention right here, we should have an AI agent consistently following up with the clients, making sure they are getting the deliverables. I like to keep the client touch points at least 3 times per week. And that's what we've been seeing that if it's at least that, then we're good. And highlighting the key deliverables and everything that's been happening throughout our process, right? The key is starting with your communication infrastructure first and building these automations on top to magnify your team's effectiveness, right? Now, where this fits in the larger picture, the communication infrastructure we've just shared is just one piece of a complete fulfillment system. In our work with service-based businesses, we implement these six core components: centralized databases where client and project data lives. Then we have our communication infrastructure, which I just went over, dynamic dashboards, which is basically where you manage your entire end-to-end fulfillment process. The communication sources, SOPs, knowledge management, where we can train all of the team members for tasks that we can't actually fully automate, right? Then we have automated workflows, which are basically going to help you save 80% of your time, and AI agents, which are basically going to handle routine communication and tasks more upper management level and help you make better decisions, right? When these six system components work together, that's when we see business truly break through their own ceilings. Communication systems is just one of the six components. Now, yeah, you just know how to do it yourself. Just use this guide as your blueprint as you wish. Set aside 1 week for initial setup. Expect some trial and error, of course, and plan for ongoing refinement with your team. Now, if you want all of this implemented in all of the six components I just mentioned, yeah, we've implemented this together with a bunch of different agencies already, and you can take a look at the case studies by clicking on this website. But yeah, if you want to see how this complete fulfillment OS, this fulfillment systems tie into your agency and could transform your operations and profitability, yeah, please make sure to watch this video. It's a 30-minute breakdown on what we do specifically, and just click the button right here on book fulfillment systems audit. In this audit, we will map your current fulfillment bottlenecks. We will show you your fulfillment systems and what would create the biggest ROI, and we will give you a clear roadmap on what you can implement immediately. So even if we are not a fit to work together, you will leave the call with actionable steps you can implement, right? So yeah, CFR done for your implementation could help you scale further. If not, you'll just take it and leave it and implement it yourself, right? So yeah, that was pretty much it for today's video. I hope you really, really enjoyed it, and I hope you can take this and implement it to your own business before you actually start building cool automations on top of it, because this is one of the main backbones that I always mention to my clients, that if we don't have this, then everything else is pretty much useless, right? Because all of the components complement each other. And yeah, you can take a look at more videos where I go over all of the backbones as well, like databases, project management, and all that stuff. But yeah, that's it for this videos, and see you on the next one. Thank you.